This one's about what do you do with the biologicals? So, at the end of your life, there's a lot of people who are attracted to you as you're going. There's all these people who love you deeply, and and they love you because they've had ongoing contact with you at a deep and meaningful, engaged and present level for some years, and they really know you, and the engagement with them is such that you also really know them, the music of who they are, and that beingness thing of who they are, and that's a really beautiful and wonderful thing. It's a really silly and rather convenient cultural thing that there are people who have been encouraged culturally to believe that because they're a biological, or that they're married to a biological, that somehow this makes them deeply connected to you. But if you've done genealogy, then you know that you have all these huge connections on both sides of your family, both of your parents, that go back generations and generations. You have vast gazillions of cousins and all manner of things who you might have a better ability to connect with than some of the more immediate biologicals. And there are parents who have all kinds of stuff going on, and it might have been that there were people who chose a different path, and they chose a path of substance abuse or child abuse, or they chose a path of attachment disorder, or they didn't combat that or get help for that, or personality disorders or psychopathy, and you might have lived this life with a biological that you would never, you just go, okay, great, I see your island, good luck to you, I'm not going to, judge the apple, I'm an orange, all the best to you. But don't walk in at the end of my life and expect me to pull up a chair because you are a biological. No, don't happen. I'm more adult than that. I'm more healthy than that. I'm more aware than that. And I'm just not codependent enough for that. So wish you luck. And then there's, I guess, siblings. And if we have siblings, in the parent thing, you might have had one parent who's like, no way, see you later, your island. You might have had another parent who really accepted you and knew you, and not just their idea of you, their whitewash of you, whatever was convenient, how it reflected on them, flag waving you at 1 minute, demonizing you another, whitewashing everything that they ever did, creating a fantasy of how much they love you. Forget that. That's people living in a la-la. They're living in the cladding world. That is not actual. It has no substance. It's cladding. Cladding is something that you put like a veneer, like a surface, to hide from what's the real deal, and to hide from the real work, to hide from the real responsibility, to hide from real connection. And that's okay. Maybe they didn't have real connection with themselves, and therefore they never learned how to, and they never took the opportunity, the vast opportunities in this world, to learn how to do that. To have the humility and the guts and the daring and to dare do that. And you can't get that if you're full of cladding and you're full of self-righteousness or whatever. You just can't do that. So, okay, they missed the boat. It's okay. It's their journey to miss the boat. It's cool. Might have had another parent who was so got you, and didn't own you. You didn't belong to them, but you felt a belonging with them. And they felt a belonging with you, and they really got you. Not, I got you. It's completely different. One is a place of beingness and really learning the language and not utilizing them as an object in relation to your image. But I had one of these parents too, but that parent's died. That parent has died. And so have the the 4 main carers that I lost before I was 4.5, and the other 4, and and they were people I would love to have around right now. They were really connected with me. 2 were my father's parents, and so they were biologicals, and a lot of what I am and what I became is from their early influence, a beautiful influence that was really a fabulous asset through my life. And of course, my father, who was a mixed bag, he was, as we all are, in a Taoist reality. We had the angel and the devil, and he was both. But the part that was my father, that dad person, he had a lot of really fabulous, crazy magic there, and I think that we had, at least 50% of really positive stuff. But he's not here to go to my memorial. But if he was, then he'd have an invite. And it's okay to pick and choose. And it's okay to say, this biological has no related soul connection with me, and this biological does, and this one kind of could, but, or whatever. It's okay. Maybe you have siblings. Maybe none of those siblings are the people that you have a soul connection to. Maybe all of those people, it's not like, oh, throw them away. Oh, don't close me out. Forget that. That's just defensive crapola, controlling defensive crapola that people do at the end of your life when they haven't earned it. They haven't earned you spending those last really most important months of your life with them. And then, so no. And it might be that you have siblings that are absolutely, soul related, and they've been like a best friend, or they've been a really important part, a particular part of your childhood where you really did connect on that level, and maybe you lost that connection, but it's still worth honoring. And, you might have friends from childhood. Well, that's fine. Is it the amount of time that you knew them, or was it the integrity of that connection, that you really felt respected by them? You really felt that they put their own stuff aside of what they wanted, and just actually were present and engaged and open to the flow with you, so that what you remember of them from those important times of rich connection is a real soul connection. And if it wasn't, you can't expect to up the tempo in the last months of their life and try to join at the hip. It doesn't matter how much love and light you think you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many, beautiful, starry-eyed, I love you looking bitches, or, oh, I'm so full of love. It doesn't matter. I know cladding. If you hang out with me and it brings me to life, and it brings us both to life, and it doesn't feel forced, and it doesn't feel like work, and I don't feel tired, and I don't think, why did I do this? This is the last months of my life. Well, then it's real. But if it's all about looking like it's real, that's cladding, and it doesn't belong in the last months of my life. If you're a person who never got around to it, and now you go, wow, she's dying, she ain't going to be here very long. I understand that, and I think we all get really busy, and we all prioritize, but there's a lot of, I didn't really understand you. I didn't really credit you with what I'm seeing now. And, and some of that's my space. I mean, did I also open up all that, or was it busy fitting in their niche? Was I busy, having them fit within one of my niches? Maybe. But there are some friends that you have a soul relatedness to. And others, it's longevity. It's like, oh, I've known you a long time. And some you know for less time, but it's an incredible soul relatedness. And you can't make that up. You can't posture that. You can't put the cladding on. Because you can spend half an hour in each other's company and you will know the difference between shit and a wet blanket. You will know. Your body, mind will tell you this is real. All this is cladding, and there's no time in the last months of your life for cladding. Yeah? And there are people who really will respect that. There's also people in the last months of your life that you might want to have around because they may be people who are really likely to be very healthy in connection with your loved ones after you've left. They might have shared interests. They might be on the same page. Really they should have both. Shared interests and not being on the same page. It's not really worth it. Life is, for some it's a shopping trolley. Whack everything in the trolley. Oh, looks like tomato sauce, that'll do. But no. It's got to be shared interests of some kind, and to sustain more than just hanging around. And it's got to have some kind of soul connection, or some kind of real interest in the person's soul, and their real interest in yours as well. And if it doesn't, and you're just kind of hanging around because you missed the opportunity with the person that's died, that's gone, that's left their body, then you can't get that by proxy, and you can't whitewash what was the real deal. And so the last months of one's life is really about prioritizing and just sort of saying, there's the deal, and who are the real depths of soul connections, and who wish they were but can't get to the party in spite of their best efforts and their best desires, and which people are expecting you to play the cladding game and to act like it was really all great, and when you're not feeling that connection. It's just, for me, it's okay to say it is what it is, and I wish you well, and I wish you all those soul connections in your world, with whoever you have them with, and in whatever way you have those. So that's okay. But I felt that this was certainly worth saying. Yeah, because I think that the thing of "you're closing me out" is overrated, and some people will close people out because they're really not coping, and they're freaking out, and they didn't get enough time to transition. And some people are just recognizing what they want to do with the last months of their life. So, and that's okay too. So to all my deeply soul-connected connections, I just want to thank you so much for having the genuineness and the absolute openness and the lack of mimi, and for being present and engaged, and really taking the time to sit your own stuff out of your pocket for a minute to actually see who each other are, and put your codependency over there with your stuff, and say, are we really connecting? And if you're not, that's okay too. It's okay to say, I have the generosity to stand back because I have my own journey and have my own peeps, as well. So I'm sure that people do deep down work it out, and do deep down get it. Sometimes the rhetoric and the dogma and, you must and must and shoulda, woulda, coulda gets in the way. But the last months of somebody's life, if it gets in your way, that's not their stuff. It's your stuff. And I can definitely wish you well with it. Okay. Bye.